You already have great assets from Meta, from TikTok. Bring them here, test it on our platform, but don't just leave it static, right? You got to be watching what is doing well. Okay, cool. Promote those, and let's find iterations of that. What's not doing well, pause those down. A sort of constant cycle of testing new hooks, testing new formats, testing call to actions, testing copy that really helps get you there. Because our inventory is unskippable for as long as 30 seconds, it really is important to try different ad lengths. Right? Folks from Meta and TikTok are so used to these short, almost forgettable ad experiences that you don't really get an opportunity to speak to a customer. On AppLovin, it's way different. All right, check 1, 2. How you guys doing?
Full room. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, quick round of introductions. My name is Gareth. I'm the director of e-commerce strategy at AppLovin. I've been with the company for 5 years, originally joining on our M&A team, and now I lead go-to-market for the new e-commerce business.
So you knew about us before we knew about you?
We knew about everything, man. But I love how you introduced that. We've been around for so long. There's been so much hype, discussion in the market that I wanted to spend 5 minutes just doing the overview, putting it out there, just so people have better context of what it is we actually do and where we came from. Okay, so we are one of the fastest growing advertising companies in the planet. Okay. In the last 5 years, we've 16x'd our revenue to $3.2 billion. And importantly, that's a net figure, right? So there's actually $10 billion of ad spend that flows through our pipes each year. We got here by building the most advanced ad recommendation system in the world. These app advertisers pay billions of dollars to the platform to drive measurable performance-based outcomes. Okay? They actually see ROI. And I think that's something that's often overlooked. Everything we do is performance-based and grounded in dollars and cents impact to the P&Ls of our brands. In September of last year, we brought this technology, we brought this inventory to e-commerce. Right. Through a closed beta program. There was probably only around 600 advertisers that spent between September and December, Brez included.
That was us.
Yeah, and you actually helped contribute to achieving a run rate of roughly $1 billion of gross ad spend. Importantly, we're also a very small team in e-com. There's only around 30 of us. So exceptional growth, exceptional performance, very, very quickly. Now, when I'm talking about AppLovin and what it is we do, very simply, we are the largest performance ad platform for mobile games. Okay, so there are tons of performance ad platforms out there. You have Meta, Google, TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, what have you. We work very similarly. The only difference is instead of your ads showing up inside social apps like Instagram and Facebook, they show up inside tens of thousands of free-to-play mobile games. Okay, so Candy Crush, Wordle, Solitaire. If you're on an airplane or a subway, you see people playing these games. That's where the ads are showing up. What blows people's minds is this audience is utterly enormous. Okay, so each day we see roughly 150 million US consumers. To put that into relative terms, Sensor Tower would report that that audience is roughly 2 times the number of people that use TikTok in the US. It's 50% larger than Instagram, and it's about 5% smaller than Facebook. Okay, so gigantic social platform scale. The key difference, and this is what makes us unique, and I think why it's worth spending a bunch of time talking with you about what you actually do really well on the platform, is that our ads are unskippable. Okay, so super quick on the screen, you can see a little flow chart of how it works. Essentially, in these apps, it's very common for ad breaks to occur between levels of games or in exchange for in-app rewards. Let's say you're stuck on a really hard crossword level. You could actually choose to watch an ad and get a hint. When that ad break shows up, it's a full-screen video takeover. 100% of the time, it is unskippable for 5 seconds. So when you think about hit hooks, you think about thumb stop, that doesn't exist in our inventory. People are seeing these commercials for 5 seconds at least. 30% of the time, it's 30 seconds or longer. Okay, and that's an important concept we'll have to come back to.
Okay.
Now, whether someone skips the ad or they watch the whole thing, there's a second screen that pops up. This is, we call it an end card. Really, it's a customizable, interactive HTML file. Again, 100% of people are going to see this ad unit because they actually have to interact with it to close the ad experience and go back to the app they were working on. And then most recently, and I think especially brands with high SKUs are going to love this, but we added dynamic product ads to our default ad experience. This is a testament to us wanting to continue to innovate in this category. the feed you're seeing there on Brunt Workwear is actually being dynamically populated and served specific to that user. Okay, so the model is trying to learn, okay, you haven't interacted with the video, you haven't interacted with the end card, what other SKUs can I show you to try to get you to convert? Regardless of which ad unit a user interacts with, they will get redirected to your web browser, sorry, to your website in the user's default web browser, whether it's Chrome or Safari, to ultimately check out. So with that said, I do want to.
What scares me on this is like, when I was hearing this again, I didn't believe it. I didn't understand it because if someone's playing a game, they're probably wanting to play a game. Yeah. And so I'm going, why are they going to go shop? And I felt this in my heart, and I was like, this is no way. Like, Meta, Twitter, TikTok, we're spending on all these places. Like, I know how to get conversion. We know how to make this stuff. And they're like, okay, fine, just trust it and run it. And it works. Like, we spent $10,000 literally yesterday, and there's no reason for us to be spending this. Why are they taking action? Because we're clearly forcing them to see it.
Yeah. Look, it's an interesting question. The reality is that people are playing these games in their spare time, right? They're commuting on their way to work, or they're waiting at the airport for something that you're waiting for their flight. So they're in a mind state where they're relaxed, they're enjoying their favorite crossword puzzle, and then they get served an ad. And this is why buying through AppLovin is so powerful, is because we're really good at targeting in this inventory. That's the secret sauce, right? We're really good at figuring out what ad should we show to what user in which game at which time. And it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm playing my word game. Oh, actually, this is a really dope pair of shoes. Let me go click on it and check out. So it's no real different than scrolling through a Facebook feed or watching a YouTube video and seeing an ad, right? Ultimately, consumers are that's why we have advertising, is to get in front of them when they're in that state of mind and would be compelled to make a purchase. It's truly top of funnel that way too.
And that's the part I was going to say, is because we were measuring it on new customer acquisition, because anybody can be like, yeah, they're just going to show you the same shit to the people that are on all the other platforms. Mm-hmm. We only care about new customer growth, and like that is where we held you guys accountable to, and that's kind of what helped us. What was shocking to me was the ability to take any of the stuff that I already did and run it on the stuff which you're going to obviously show right now.
Yeah. Okay, so this is actually one of your top performers. I wanted to show the crowd. This is what it looks like in the wild. Okay, so if you're playing a game, Wordscapes, this is a very popular word game. You could actually probably.
I just turned 21 and already quit drinking alcohol for good. Instead, I drink Brez. Brez is a microdosed social tonic that's non-alcoholic, which gives you the same happy, euphoric, social, and overall light feeling without the hangover and regret. It has a lemon flavor and a little bite at the end that makes it taste like an actual adult beverage, making it the perfect mocktail mixer. I was tired of waking up hungover, groggy, and regretting my decisions from the night before. That's why I'll choose Brez every time over alcohol. Click the link above the caption to check it out.
So unskippable video for, in that case, that was around 30 seconds. This is the end card that I'm talking about. And then Brez is also integrated with our DPA. So what you're seeing here, I actually have an analyst who recorded this video for me. This is being served uniquely to them based on what the model thinks they'll be likely to interact with. The cool thing about this ad unit, by the way, just as an aside, the other two, if they clicked on it, it would take them straight to a URL that you'd given us. With this, it'll actually send them straight to the PDP. Okay, so it's a very low friction experience from seeing an ad to now I can go and shop and buy it right now.
Yeah, this is wild. Also, that southern draw does fantastic on ads. So if you have that like little southern earthy draw, that does
There's something more believable about it, right?
Very believable. And like I hope AI can never copy that, because it makes me feel super American when I hear something like that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because it is really true. So, look, Nick, you've been an incredible partner to us and supporter from very early on. What I love most is you guys just talked about it, right? You're building in public. You're very transparent. Sometimes. For better or worse, especially with your loadings on AppLovin. So I did want to spend some time just understanding Brez, where you guys came from, the history, and then eventually move it into the marketing experience and ultimately working with us to achieve the success you have. So to start, what is the history of the brand? You haven't been around for a very long time, but I'm sure it was like hatched and it's interesting.
Yeah, so Aaron actually came up with this idea on a flight from Costa Rica. As you just listened, you can imagine that's how it came about. We've already been in this space because we have a large agency called We Are Lucid, which just serves in this specific niche. Okay. So we already knew the ballpark. We knew who to kind of play with. I've always been paid media. I've always been performance, which is why most of the people that you work with on our team, we're like, oh, we'll do it.
Yeah,
We're down. We're like very down because we know where the wins are on the alphas and the betas. And since we've been spending, it's my 11th year in this. Aaron's been in this, I think 16. So that we don't need to have questions around should we try an ad platform or should we try new shit. Yeah. That's where it initially started. Then this product, I think we're in a moment. I really do think we have a good moment. The product is pretty good because normally, like I made my first set of money on fidget spinners.
Yeah.
In like 2016, 2017, I made a bag on fidget spinners. And all of a sudden, but the reason why we were winning on fidget spinners is because kids in school that had autism were buying in bulk. And I didn't know that. And if I was a better marketer, I would have figured out a way to communicate this. Yeah. But now I understand why they're consuming this. I understand why they can play with it. And what I want is I just need new people to continue to see it. Again, this came at a time that when Adam, the person that introduced you guys to me, was like, I know you're spending money, and I've just tweeted, Meta won't take my budget.
Yeah.
I literally tweeted it, and then Adam's like, hey, I think I have an opportunity for you. And we're very, very public in what we build because I know I need help. Like, we've never done it at this size, so the more I talk about it, the more I yap about it, the more I think we're going to get help. And this is how you guys hit me up.
Yeah. Well, so, okay, you actually had a good point there about audience, right? And it's like, you're talking about the autistic children buying your fidget spinners,
yes.
And it's about, okay, if I knew that, I could communicate to them and then expand my audience, or expand my reach.
It would have been interesting. That would have been interesting.
That would have been I'm not exactly sure how that would have worked out.
I would have got that approved.
But the point that I was trying to make, or kind of move into, is, like, do you have that understanding of your audience for Brez?
Yes.
Who is that? So is it a specific gender, or just a specific age group? Like, who is it?
I think it's many, but we have our garden girlies, which are the girls that partake in cannabis but are very flowery about it. And that's how they communicate it. We have the guys that are like, I want to feel some type of way, and I want to like take the edge off. We have the ones that are like, I don't and can't drink alcohol anymore. Yeah. And the ones that is like the mom that enjoys wine, but she knows she has to wake up tomorrow because she's got to be at the soccer field. So it's like we have these demos, and they're all across the different types of people. And we need, again, that's why we use Meta, that's why we use Twitter, because we know we have to be in different places. Okay, so when you're trying to categorize all those people, you're building this brand, did you have any very distinct, memorable, creative breakthroughs or brand messaging that you noticed, kind of took you from here to a step change up? Like, what was, because look at your brand is beautiful. Like, straight up, it's beautiful. Is a vibe.
Yeah. How did you get there?
So this is actually, so his name is Armand. Armand did all of our graphics. If you see the site, everything is like 3D rendering. We do all that in-house. We don't use any agencies for any of this stuff. You can see all the ads when it comes up. When you look on the shelf, you have like pastel, you have really loud, annoying colors on the energy drink side. Yeah. And we use like, this is a dream-like state that we're trying to put you in. So the can itself resembles a bubble. So the can is a bubble, and so when you look at it, it's iridescent, and it changes as you look at it from a different angle. We just went through this as we're trying to develop brand new boxes that sit on shelves. We're like, how do we show the can? Because the can itself is very beautiful. We've invested heavily in it to develop that. So that's kind of where the initial. The can. It's a very unique brand. Okay, I see that in some of the creatives you run, right? It's very product focused. But the one that popped off was UGC phone, straightforward, talking about the product, Aaron selling what's in it, and then he's by a fire. That was like
I know what you're talking about. Okay, so look, the reality is, by the nature of your product, you always have to test new channels. That's just how it goes in this business. You mentioned Adam. That's how you got introduced to us. What were the decision making around? Okay, hey, there's a new channel. I'm gonna go spend some money in it, but I also have all these 5 other channels that I could allocate budgets to. Right? How do you think about where to put your dollars? I think every single person here is trying to get as much money as they possibly can off of Meta because of the reliance there. Yeah. They're the big dog. I can't move budget away from that just to justify a testing of a new product. So when I told Alex, which is our our mutual friend, and then Michael, who supports us on the actual side, I was like, hey, I can allocate this certain dollar amount. How long do you think it's going to take before you understand? You guys were all like, well, trust us. Please try to spend at least $10,000. Yep. And I go, okay, I will spend more than that, but I need to see something sooner than later. And that was kind of like the address was, I needed to understand the tranche of dollars I was willing to spend because I knew I had to take it away from another channel, and I just needed the communication support. Okay, that's actually on the topic of it. Moving budgets around, we should actually take that offline because I have a pushback on that, but
Good.
we got topics to cover. Okay, so the reality is, like, you have amazing success, right, on the platform. You spent a ton of money in Q4, even Q1 was like pretty strong. What were the like 2 or 3 most surprising, like, WTF is happening when you started testing AppLovin?
Women, way more women.
Okay.
We thought we were going to get guys that are playing Clash of Clans. Like, that was like the joke we were saying inside. We're like, we were going to get a bunch of dudes that are playing it, or we're going to get 2 old people playing Tetris.
Okay.
Or Solitaire. That my honest opinion was like,
Yeah.
we're not going to hit the demo. And then when I started, I was like, okay, customers are pretty similar profile to who we're already acquiring. Subscription take rate was pretty consistent. I was going like, okay, this is very real. And then Brandon was, guys, we need to spend as much money as we possibly can.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Now, on that talk, on the point about like women being in the audience, there's a misconception that it's only older ladies playing these games.
That's what I thought.
but I mean, you mentioned you see a lot of women doing this. Do you have a sense of who they are, what they look like? Like actually purchasing Brez through AppLovin ads. That's what I'm asking
So
about.
we don't have the post-purchase we have where you heard of us.
Okay.
But I don't have like the demographic breakdown of specifics. But I do know that it skews women.
Okay. I want to riff on audiences just a little bit for folks in the audience. When you think about what does well, the reason why I'd asked you that is there is that misconception as to, like, you know, it's older women playing these games and that's the only thing that works here. But the reality is we have very large brands across every category finding scale on the network. Okay, I'm talking furniture, other high AOV products. We have beauty that does really well. Pet products. I know that the guy up earlier was as a pet food brand. I want to talk to him afterwards.
Yeah.
Apparel does really well. Supplements. The reality is all these brands are targeting way different audiences. They're not all going after older women playing these games. And the way that they actually do that and find that within AppLovin is through their creative. And that's I want to spend the next bunch talking about that with you. But that's how they do it. And what we mentioned to most of the brands that come and test us is, look, you already have great assets from Meta. You have great assets from TikTok. Bring them here. Test it on our platform. But don't just leave it static, right? You got to be watching what is doing well. Okay, cool. Promote those, and let's find iterations of that. What's not doing well, pause those down. And it's like a sort of constant cycle of testing new hooks, testing new formats, testing call to actions, testing copy that really helps get you there. And I know that that's what you guys have done really, really well. So maybe if you're targeting men in their 40s, right? Like that's your target market. You sell a great pair of shoes, and that's who you want to reach. Guess what? Your hooks on AppLovin, because you have that 5-second window to communicate a message to a specific segment of the audience, it should probably mention something like, "Hey, are you a dude in your 40s and you want cool shoes that are comfortable? Like, check these out." Right? That style of content does exceptionally well on the platform, and you guys actually have a lot of that, which we'll get to in a sec.
What we loved about it is I like the fact that it's enough of direct response, but still keeping brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can still play a lot.
Well, dude, we'll go to your founder videos, but like that's entirely branded, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Okay, really quick. When you started seeing success, okay, so again, brands like, we got to keep spending money here. How did you, as an operator, because there are folks in the crowd, either you're an agency or a brand, where you'll test and it'll actually show a lot of signs of life, and you want to keep investing behind the platform. What did you do from a resourcing perspective, time investment, creative flows, to actually support the growth of your brand on the AppLovin platform?
There's really, to me, it was pretty simple. We actually did 3 things. So we already knew how to get set up and run. So from the onboard to up and running, I think it took me like less than a day and a half. I think we needed to make sure we had the budget, and we just shifted budget around. That's the first one. We didn't do any unique landing pages. We had one subscription page that we ran with you guys. We rebuilt that page, so I don't even think we're running it anymore. Mm-hmm. And then we did we just took all of our best performing ads that we had in the initial drive, and we were just live. I don't think it was a lot of like extra shit that I needed to do.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so I want to talk about your team a little bit. Give a shout out to Brandon, who we talked about. Daniel and David also on the paid media team. Exceptional. Like I guess one of them's on content, but
same team.
Same team. This team has been awesome to work with. Okay, and it's important to know that there's just a degree of responsiveness, nimbleness, a willingness to test new things that I firmly believe culturally makes you successful on testing a new channel like AppLovin. Like you guys have 3 different campaign types right now. They're running CPP, ROAS, and some of the new alpha stuff that we have coming out. Logically, so one would think, hey, are these campaigns all cannibalizing each other? But the reality is, on our system, they're actually all different models targeting different audiences and helping you find more scale. We already talked a lot about creatives, and actually, I probably should skip a little ahead. But you guys are rolling out new creatives weekly, and they are exceptionally high quality, and allows the model to take those creatives and keep pumping it into the audience to find new users.
But that's why we'd have to change it, because we're already doing that.
Yeah, exactly. You're taking it from what you're doing on Meta, and I guess you're just pulling it over, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think so. Quick pivot. Up on the screen right now, these are 3 of your top performing video creatives right now on AppLovin. They are all very, very different, and this is why I wanted to just go into what really works, right? So on the far left of the screen, you have a product voiceover. That person, it's the same ad I showed earlier. It's a younger woman. She's talking about she just turned 21. She loves Brez. She's not really interested in alcohol. That is targeting a younger generation. They're already sober curious. We already know the non-alcoholic beverage market is one of the fastest growing markets in the category. Way different consumer and way different persona being targeted than the person in the middle. That's a UGC testimonial of an athlete. She's talking about how great the product is, how she has to perform at a peak physical state, and she can't afford alcohol to damage her body, therefore she drinks Brez to still fit in the socials. And that's way different than what I was mentioning earlier with the founder video, right? It's Aaron talking about the brand, talking about the mission, talking about the real aspirational thing. That type of video is targeting a user on our network who is already a consumer of alcohol alternatives, right? And now they get to see Brez as a brand and think, oh, that's actually really dope. I want to support this brand. I'm going to go buy their products. This type of persona level targeting is what people that just they take their best videos in Meta and they bring it over. They kind of miss that opportunity to actually speak to different audiences within these games.
But that's not a platform thing. That's how you do good marketing thing.
Well, I was going to ask, is this part of your creative strategy?
100%.
Okay.
Because we're very intentional with the volume. We know we need volume for every other platform, and our current growth mechanism for even retail is digital. Yeah. And so if we didn't have this system, that's Daniel, that's Corbin, that's Brandon, that's all the guys that are going, I need to get this. That's Sarah, even now on our influencer outreach.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good amount of content, and that I do think that's unique for us to win, because we have to have that creative diversity, but it's not different from the shit that we're already doing on the other platforms.
Okay. I love that, because I do want to look. People have a lot of different ways of running their marketing strategy. I do want to say I think that style is rarer, right? I see a lot of different advertisers, and it is really brilliant when you can actually think about the personas that are buying your product and then speak to them in the inventory. Up on the screen, I have just a bunch of tips that make creatives and especially video creatives really sing on AppLovin. The one that I want to call out that's especially important that people that port over ads from other networks don't really think about is because our inventory is unskippable for as long as 30 seconds, it really is important to try different ad lengths, right? Folks from Meta and TikTok are so used to these short, almost forgettable ad experiences that you don't really get an opportunity to speak to a customer. On AppLovin, it's way different. Okay, I do want to spend some time talking about end cards, only because this is probably the most unique part of our inventory as compared to something like Meta or TikTok. Okay. A lot of brands are very video focused, but the end card, again, because people land on this page after they see the video, in many cases, this section of the inventory drives over half the clicks. Okay, so it's super critical, and your team is especially good at working through concepts with our team. You're testing copy, you're testing images, you're testing call to actions. The example I have up here, this is actually basically a screenshot of your homepage.
Yep.
And
with our opt-in for offer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. So the control that you see on the left, that's a straight up screenshot of your homepage. The swapping the call to action from experience it to claim $5 actually drove lifts to your click-through rate. And that claim $5 came from where?
Well, that's opt-in for email specifically.
Yeah, it's literally just an email pop-up.
Well, and what we did on top of that, we actually took traffic from AppLovin, segmented unique pop-ups by traffic source from Aaliyah.
Yeah.
And so now the offer is we know where you're coming from. I know how to build LTV models off of it, because all the traffic, I'm trying to understand how long are you guys going to stay.
That's incredible. But I guess it's a simple tweak. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just taking an experience they would have already seen on the landing page, pulling it into this ad experience because this is unique to AppLovin, and it worked wonders for your campaigns. So super quick on thinking about what works and how to think about end cards. I think the biggest takeaway here really is two things work really well. Promotional copy, promotional like discounts, things like the claim $5.
Yep.
It just incents a user to want to click on the ad, right? If you're already running, an evergreen promo, right? I have a lot of pet food clients. Everyone does like a 25% off your first order or 50% off your first order. Like just show them that, right? Like show that in the ad. Make sure people actually know that they should click on it and go and do it. The other thing that works really well, because we are top of funnel, a lot of people will see your ad or see your brand for the very first time. Make sure to include social proofs, things that make them want to actually interact with the website and learn a bit more. And then lastly, comparisons work excellently. And I want to give another tip that I learned from one of my pet food clients, but they had done this beautiful branding where they compared Cheetos, right, like cheese puffs, to kibble.
Okay.
And the messaging was like you wouldn't want to eat like processed foods like that every single meal, every single day for your entire life.
True.
So why are you giving that to your dog? You should feed them like raw food. It was such a I don't know. I thought it was great branding or
Nice.
great marketing.
Agree.
All right. So I have a couple wrap-ups super quick, but one parting thought from you, Nick, to the audience. You've had a ton of success on the platform. What is like the one piece of advice or recommendation for someone who's interested in trying AppLovin? What would you pass off to them?
Just take what you already have running at any sort of reasonable scale at target CPA and apply it with a little bit higher CPA because you got to learn a little bit at the beginning, we found.
Yeah.
But it should be apples to apples. Take what's already currently working. The end card, I would say copy what we just did on screenshot your offer.
Yeah.
Landing, I think that's
Landing page. Yeah. A lot of people bring up the landing page into the end card.
correct.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're still at what we're still at. And I think that's, you got to just, it's worth the cash, especially if you come into low seasons now. Q4, it'll be a heavier part of our strategy, and whether we launch with it more aggressively or we kind of keep pace with Meta, but it's taking a budget for sure.
Yeah. Some parting thoughts, guys. You obviously, out of necessity, have to test new channels every now and then, but we believe that every brand should be doing this. They need to be doing this. The world's an incredibly uncertain place, and so like relying on one channel like Meta is just not smart business, okay? On top of that, like you should be in front of your audience wherever they are, right? People use Instagram, they also use TikTok. Like we're all consumers, we use multiple apps. And there's a good chance that people that you want to buy your product, they're also playing these games, okay? So if you're not in front of them in different audiences, in different inventories, your competitor will be. Thirdly, as you just mentioned, it's super easy to do it because most of the time these assets actually work quite well across networks. And then in the case of AppLovin, we're still in a beta, so it's entirely free to get started. I'll kind of pull this up. If you guys want to scan that QR code, you can submit an application. But any brand that does over $10 million of GMV in the US can apply. The acceptance into a beta program includes $10,000 of ad credits. Really what that serves, as Nick kind of mentioned, is it helps feed the model. It helps you see over time, like, okay, is this platform actually going to hit my goals, hit my CPA targets? Yeah. And then if it does, fantastic, keep spending. Importantly, there's no spend commitments associated with that. So if it doesn't work, just turn it off. And someone actually earlier, a couple of conversations ago, mentioned, like, just test it again in 6 months, test it again in 9 months. Like, this thing is a machine learning model. It gets better every single day. So with that, I don't have a whole lot of time for questions, I guess, but I'll be at the back with a couple of my colleagues. Come find me if you have questions on the platform, questions on if your brand would do really well. I would love to get to know you guys.
Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah, man, thanks. This is awesome.